Thanks for downloading Ehnother Podcast from Ehnotherpodcast.com. Today's show can be found in many ways. iTunes, the Ehnotherpodcast.com webpage, and now can be found on Stitcher.com. You can now stream the latest show anywhere with the Stitcher app, on your computer, even on your boss's computer. Ehnother Podcast is now at your fingertips every day of the week and at your convenience. Enjoy today's episode of Warlock Wednesdays. Ehnotherpodcast.com. Not a sponsor. Welcome to another Warlock Hour. This is your host, Rayzor, for another Warlock Wednesday. I got a few things that I want to get through today, and I also want to talk about something that's been driving me crazy the last, couple of months now. But first, as always, we're going to get to the comic book releases for this week. So your comic book releases for this week from DC Comics, we have Batgirl, number 22, Batman, number 22, Katana, number 6, Suicide Squad number 22, and Superman Unchained number 2. Myself this week, I will be picking up Batgirl number 22 and Suicide Squad number 22. Moving over to Marvel, Marvel has Hawkeye number 12, Superior Spider-Man number 13, Uncanny X-Men number 8, Wolverine number 6, and Young Avengers number 7. All 5 of these titles I will be checking out, although I may be dropping Young Avengers quite soon. I might finish off the current story arc, and that could be it. So this could be near the end of my Young Avengers run, just not doing it for me, so to speak. Not a great comic for myself, although I know others out there enjoy it. From the independents this week, from Dark Horse Comics, it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 9, number 23, and Star Wars number 7. From Dynamite Entertainment this week, Black Bat number 3, Grimm number 3, Kevin Smith's The Bionic Man number 21, and as always, just a reminder that is based on a script that Kevin Smith wrote for a movie entitled The Bionic Man, based on the old television series with I can't think of his name right now, but on the old television series, The $6 Million Man. And he was able to work out a deal with Dynamite Entertainment, turn it into a comic book, and this is issue number 21. Also from Dynamite Entertainment this week, Red Sonja number 79, which will be the last issue in the current run of Red Sonja. It will be getting a reboot next week with Red Sonja number 1, written by Gail Simone, and I will be starting collecting Red Sonja at that point. I will collect Gail Simone's entire run, I'm sure. She has a very unique style compared to other artists, comic book writers that have written female characters in the past. I love her run on Batgirl. I am glad she's back on Batgirl. And I'm looking forward to her run on Red Sonja. And once Red Sonja, if she ever does leave Red Sonja, I will probably be following suit. Also, finally, from Dynamite Entertainment, Miss Fury number 4. I will be picking up Miss Fury number 4 of Dynamite Entertainment's releases this week. So that is it for your comic book releases for this week. Remember, if you have any comics you want me to follow, just be sure to email me or post in the comments, and I'll be able to, every week, or every time an issue comes out that you're interested in, I will put it down on the comic book releases so you know it's coming out this week. So let's move on to some entertainment news then, and we're going to start, as always, where we always do, with the box office reports. And the number 1 movie this past weekend, the long weekend for the United States, July 4th weekend, was Despicable Me number 2. Despicable Me 2 raked in an $83.5 million haul, and that alone eclipsed its budget, minus marketing, as of course. Marketing is always extra. The budget is just for the cost of the film. Film cost $76 million plus marketing to make, and $83.5 million was the weekend gross. Its total gross, because it opened earlier in the week, it opened on Tuesday, remember, last week, due to the 4th of July weekend, $143 million already, so it's already doubled its budget pre-marketing expenses. Number 2 was the other new movie this week, The Lone Ranger. It brought in $29.2 million for the weekend with a 6-day total, I guess that would be, let's see, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yes, I got it right. 6-day total of $48.7 million for the very, very, very long American long weekend. This is way underperforming. However, I personally love the movie. I thought it was fantastic. It was entertaining. It was, if you enjoyed the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, you will enjoy The Lone Ranger. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't want to spoil anything. That is what I'm going to say about it. However, this movie cost $215 million to make, and there will be no profits made on this movie, so I am betting there will be no sequel to this movie, and they'll have to hope that Johnny Depp finds his feet with the new Pirates of the Caribbean movie in the future. Slipping to number 3 this week was The Heat with another $24.7 million. Number 4 was last week's number 1, Monsters University at $19.7 million. World War Z drops to number 5 with $18.4 million. White House Down falls to 6th place with $13.4 million. Man of Steel drops another two spots for $11.4 million for the weekend. Kevin Hart, Let Me Explain, a limited release from Lionsgate, brought in $10 million on 876 screens. That averages out to $11,000 per screen. So that's pretty darn good, bringing its 6-day total up to $17.3 million, as it was also a new release this week. Number 9, This Is the End, with another $5.8 million. And rounding out the top 10, Now You See Me, $2.8 million for that film. So that's your top 10 movie grosses for this past weekend. Some of them I included the 6-day total, the new ones. Excuse me. And let's see what's coming out this week. This week we have a blockbuster coming out, that being Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim is supposed to be huge. A lot of people are pumped about it. Not me. I am not pumped because every time I watch a trailer, it looks like a very cheesy, very crappy movie. The only reason I want to see it is because of the director. Guillermo del Toro is involved, and he's done some very well, visually stunning and entertaining movies. However, every time I see a trailer, there's 3 thoughts that come to my mind. Transformers, Godzilla, and Neon Genesis Evangelion, which is an anime series that some of you may or may not know. This is what comes to my mind. Maybe I'm out there or something, but it just doesn't seem very... I don't know what the word is, but it just doesn't seem like a movie that is a blockbuster-worthy movie, and I'm definitely on the fence, and I could fall either way. I could hate this movie, I could love this movie, I don't know. All I know is the only reason I would see it is Guillermo del Toro. That being the case, I probably will not see it opening weekend, just because I don't have the urge to rush out and have to see it. It's not one of those must-see movies for me. The other movie coming out this weekend, which I'll probably end up seeing before I see Pacific Rim, is Grown Ups 2. Grown Ups 2, of course, reunites the cast of Chris Rock, David Spade, I just had it. Chris Rock, David Spade, Kevin James, and I'm missing one. Adam Sandler, of course. Adam Sandler's the star, quote unquote. It's an Adam Sandler movie. So it reunites those 4 from the original Grown Ups and throws in a few other actors that weren't in the original Grown Ups movie. And like I said, I'll probably end up seeing this one before I'll see Pacific Rim. And again, I'm not rushing out to see Grown Ups 2 as well. It's just that it has more appeal to me as a comedy than Pacific Rim does. Hey, it could change. I may end up seeing Pacific Rim before. I don't know. All I know for sure is that those are the 2 movies that are opening up this weekend. And if the hype that everybody says it is true, then Pacific Rim should be your number 1 next week. We'll just have to wait and find out. Moving on, I don't have a lot of movie news this week. There's been a lot of talk about San Diego Comic-Con, and I'm not going to get into that until the actual Comic-Con takes place later on this month. And even then, it'll be probably more, I will talk about certain things and link a lot of videos for that one, because let's face it, most of Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con is previewing movies that are coming out. So my first bit of movie news is Ryan Reynolds talking about the Deadpool movie. As we know, a lot of fans have wanted the Deadpool movie ever since X-Men Origins Wolverine hit theaters in 2009. Ryan Reynolds was asked, and has been asked ever since, for years now, about the Deadpool spin-off at 20th Century Fox. Tim Miller has been attached to direct a script from Zombieland writer Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. Now, here is what he said in an interview with Total Film. That movie is alive and kicking, and then it's dead as a doornail. Then it's alive and kicking, and then it's dead. It's like the worst relationship I've ever had. The character knows he's a comic book character, he knows he's in a film, he knows who the executives are at the studio making the movie. In the current iteration of the script, Deadpool is aware of the Wolverine movie. He doesn't say anything disparaging about it, but he does at one point play with the Deadpool action figure with some curiosity. That being said, I think that they've captured the Deadpool character very well, because if you read a Deadpool comic book, he breaks the fourth wall, so to speak. He interacts with the reader in the comics, or in the film, he would interact with the audience in a sense that he would be speaking to you, the audience. He would turn to the camera. He would look directly out at the audience and say things that, and Deadpool is such a great character, and I think Ryan Reynolds definitely has the chops to play this character very well. He showed that he could do it in the bit that he was allowed in Wolverine. I did not like the end result of Deadpool when that movie came to an end. I think that if they need to let Ryan Reynolds play the whole part, even when he becomes the undead, unkillable merc with a mouth, chimichanga loving, many other descriptive names for Deadpool, but I think you know what I'm getting at. I think Ryan Reynolds needs to play the character all the way through, and I think they also have to make this film an R in the States or an 18A here in Canada, because that's the only way you can do a Deadpool movie and do it with justice. My only beef is that 20th Century Fox has a thing for fracking things up. They love to mess things up. They screwed up Aragon. They screw up movies left, right, and center. They like to screw over Marvel. They don't know how to do anything right, it seems. They even screwed up the last 3 Star Wars movies, although that's kind of on George Lucas too. But 20th Century Fox is notorious for screwing shit up. So I want to see it, but maybe I want to wait and see if Marvel can acquire the rights back and do it properly. Moving on, horrible piece of Twitter news. Apparently, people on Twitter, fans, if you want to call them that, of Russell Crowe, are asking him if he would reprise his role of Jor-El in a prequel to Man of Steel. Are you fracking kidding me? A prequel to Man of Steel? Are these people idiots and morons? First of all, Man of Steel wasn't a great movie. It was a good movie. It was entertaining. It was not a Superman movie. There is no fracking prequel for Man of Steel. This is definitely a piss-offer for me. I am very angry that people would want a prequel starring the worst actor in the movie. This is what Mr. Russell Crowe had to say. A lot of you are asking about a Krypton prequel. If that's something you feel strongly about, let Legendary Pictures know your thoughts. Just getting sick of reading the same question, mate. However, if it came up, I'd give the tights another go. No! Absolutely not! Absolutely, categorically, insanely, no! No prequel! It's bad enough we had to sit through Man of Steel and have him stick around longer than he was supposed to. He was supposed to die in the opening 15-20 minutes and then that's it. Maybe his voice, maybe a holographic image for a couple of minutes. No, the guy hung around like a freaking mosquito trying to drain your blood. Horrible, horrible decision. No to the prequel. Okay, that one's out of the way. There's more to come later. Moving on. Disney is moving forward with a live-action version of The Jungle Book. For those of you who've been hiding under a rock for the last 40 years, The Jungle Book is a classic tale featuring the Indian boy Mowgli, and he's raised by wolves and living among the animals. It was a popular Disney film back in 1967. They've also done books. It was I want to say Kipling. Yes, Rudyard Kipling is the writer of the books. Warner Brothers has been developing their own live-action version of the Jungle Book, written by Harry Potter Steve Kloves, while at the same time developing a new Star Wars Tarzan movie. Even so, Disney certainly has an advantage in that most people who hear the title Jungle Book will associate it with the animated feature Walt Disney's last production, which they were likely to have seen sometime in the last 45 years. Okay, so I was a little off. So, Walt Disney wants to do a live-action Jungle Book. However, Warner Brothers is because the book is into the public domain, which means you don't need rights, like you don't have exclusive rights like they do nowadays with newer stuff to a studio. Warner Brothers can develop and launch their own version of the Jungle Book. So the Jungle Book we could see two movies of it. We could see another Olympus Has Fallen / White House Down situation where two movies get released within months of each other, which are basically the same. Now, the thing I like here is that while Disney is moving forward with their version of the live-action Jungle Book, the fact that Steve Kloves, who basically penned most of the scripts for Harry Potter, the Harry Potter movies, is doing the adaptation of the Kipling book, that's the one I'd be more interested in because of his adaptation skills with the J.K. Rowling novels from Harry Potter. He didn't develop all of them. I think there was the 5th or 6th movie where he did not work on the script, but he developed all the rest. He did the screenplays for all the rest. So the fact that he would be adapting the book himself, that puts me in a better inclination to see the Warner Brothers version as opposed to the Disney version. Moving on, David Hayter is apparently going to adapt the graphic novel The Sword. Lakeshore Entertainment and Hopscotch Features have tapped David Hayter to pen the screenplay. He wrote the screenplay for The Watchmen and X-Men, the first X-Men movie, for the upcoming The Sword, a stylistic, action-packed tale of vengeance based on the graphic novel by Jonathan and Joshua Luna. This graphic novel was divided into 4 volumes, so there's a chance that this could be another franchise for Lakeshore Entertainment, who, as we know, is they brought us the Underworld franchise, which has done very well. They've grossed over $460 million worldwide. The first installment of The Sword is slated to begin production in 2014, like early 2014. The Sword, basically, it tells the story of a young paraplegic named Dara Brighton, who leads an ordinary existence until her family is brutally murdered by a mysterious trio, possessed of godlike supernatural abilities. Left for dead, Dara discovers an ancient sword belonging to her father, indicating that his past may have been much longer and stranger than she could have ever suspected. The sword not only restores her ability to walk, but it grants her a constantly evolving array of spectacular physical powers. With her new weapon in hand and 2 faithful friends at her side, Dara Brighton embarks on a journey to hunt down and destroy her family's assassins. So basically, it's a revenge flick, like it was said earlier. It's going to be a strong female lead. Just off the top of my head, I think that this movie could do very well if done very right. So it's all going to come to how David Hayter does the screenplay to this adaptation. Lakeshore Entertainment has done well with Underworld. Hopefully they can do well with this, and we'll just have to see where things go. Something that interests me may not be interest to anybody else, but I was a huge fan of the Child's Play movies, the Chucky movies as they are. Child's Play is now actually releasing its 6th installment of the Child's Play franchise, called The Curse of Chucky. Now, in this movie, it is going to be, unfortunately, a direct-to-DVD movie, so unfortunately it will not be in theaters. And the movie is going to star, of course, Brad Dourif as the voice of Chucky. However, his daughter Fiona will actually be in this movie. Fiona is going to play the mother of the child who receives the Chucky doll. In Curse of Chucky, Nika is grieving over the gruesome suicide of her mother when her domineering older sister Barb arrives with her young family in tow to help settle their mother's affairs. As the sisters butt heads over Nika's plans for the future, Barb's young daughter comforts herself with a grinning, red-haired, talking doll named Chucky that recently arrived mysteriously in the mail. But as a string of brutal murders begins to terrorize the household, Nika suspects the doll may hold the key to the bloodshed. What she doesn't know is that Chucky has a personal score to settle. He's determined to finish a job he started more than 20 years earlier, and this time he's going to see it through to the bloody and shocking end. Now, the fact that it is going direct to DVD means it could be a lot more gory than we've seen in the past. That being said, I am all for this. I know it's cheesy. I know it's campy. I don't care. I want to see Curse of Chucky, and on September 24th, I hope to be picking up my copy of Curse of Chucky, because I want to see this. For those of you who would like to check out a trailer, I will put a link in the description below, because I think it's going to be cheesy, good old horror, campy, B-rated horror, whatever you want to call it. Romping good time of Chucky. So that is the movie entertainment news. Let's move on to some television entertainment news. I got 3 little snippets for you. Ming-Na Wen, who is going to be in the new Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., had an interview with SFX, and she was asked different things about the upcoming Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. Here are some of the things she had to say. I think she definitely honors her job. This is about her character. She was asked what her character is about. I think she definitely honors her job and she takes it very seriously. And she has a lot of skills to reach level 7. But from what I gather, she has some damage. She's like a damaged soldier. I think she's definitely one of the more seasoned, experienced agents in the crew. Now she was asked, with Joss Whedon moving on to Avengers 2, he won't be able to have as much hands-on time with the series, but Wen doesn't seem to think that will be an issue as Whedon's influence will continue to guide him. She goes on to say, we definitely try very hard to take what he started in the writing and the directing of the pilot episode, and he will be there to guide us indefinitely. He's got an office in the S.H.I.E.L.D. building, so he'll be there. But we're also in really good hands with his brother Jed and Marissa, and our team, they're amazing. Now, that right there is awesome, because Jed Whedon, who is Josh's brother, and Marissa, who is Jed's wife, have worked on projects that I've listened to before, have watched before. For those of you who like Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, they worked on that with Joss. I mean, these guys know what they do with each other. Like, Joss and Jed worked together on many projects, along with Marissa. I definitely see this series being a success, because lately, anything Joss touched turned to gold. Now, she was asked what fans could expect from the series. She had this to say. I think for the diehard fans who know Joss Whedon's work as well as the Marvel series and all the movies, I think they will have a certain expectation which we'll be able to deliver as far as sense of humor, as far as the camaraderie of the characters and the action. But I think the one big surprise is because it's now being translated for television, it's the continuous development of these characters on a weekly basis, and hopefully they'll be able to be more invested in these characters and what happens to them. Finally, she was asked if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters could appear in Avengers 2. She said, I don't know. Wouldn't that be awesome? I can always dream. Now, we know Clark Gregg is reprising his role as of Agent Phil Coulson in this series. So we already know he's been in the movies, and now he's on television. So can he make it back to the movies, and can any of these other characters make it back to the movies? As recap, the agents include Brett Dalton as Agent Grant Ward, Ian DeCasticker as Agent Leo Fitz, Elizabeth Henstridge as Agent Jenna Simmons, Ming-Na Wen as Agent Melinda May, and Chloe Bennett as the mysterious computer hacker Sky. It will air on Tuesdays this fall on ABC in the States. No confirmation on where it will air in Canada yet. It's going to be probably global, but also City TV has been known to pick up those here. Or City TV and CTV have been known to pick up some of their hero ones. In fact, CTV has Arrow right now, so CTV could be in the running to also air Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So we'll just have to wait and see. But right now, Tuesdays this fall on ABC. My second bit of TV news: League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Fox has ordered a pilot of this show. Now, they've ordered a pilot based on the graphic novel, which featured a group of Victorian-age literary characters, including Captain Nemo, the Invisible Man, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and they team up to fight a common enemy. Now, this was already turned into a movie in 2003, starring Sean Connery as Alan Quatermain. The film was intended to start a franchise, but it flopped. It was a huge bust. Now, Fox ordered this as a they call it what's they call it? I don't know. I forget the exact term, but basically, we are going to see the pilot of this show no matter what, because it was ordered as a specific type of pilot. It was 20th Century Fox is following up on its pledge to do year-round development and scheduling of its shows. So this preview pilot could compete with S.H.I.E.L.D. next year, but it has to succeed in the pilot first. So, but either way, apparently we're going to see the pilot of the show. My last bit of television news is of the animation variety. Apparently, the Bleeding Cool News, or bleedingcool.com, not a sponsor, have found out that Guardians of the Galaxy, which is of course we know the last movie in Phase 2 before the Avengers 2. This movie, of course, is going to center around a lot of characters that are not of this world. They're all aliens. We've got a talking raccoon. We've got a walking tree. We've got couple of aliens and then a half human, half alien. So, I mean, we've got no full humans in this movie. Most of it's going to take place in space. It's obscure. It's almost as bad as when Marvel first released Iron Man back in 2008. Iron Man and Tony Stark were not household names, and Guardians of the Galaxy is definitely that and beyond, because they're a whole nother level of obscure. That being said, they have until August 2014 to make people aware of these characters. Now, they've recently brought back the comic book. It is now up to issue 4. Stephen Wacker, who's the writer, he's an editor of the comic book, put in his editorial in issue 4 that he was in on a writing summit for Disney XD's hit animated series Ultimate Spider-Man. He was also there with Brian Michael Bendis, who, as any comic nerd knows, is a huge part of the Marvel Universe right now. He said, this is what his quote was. Now look, I can't officially confirm that we spent a lot of time talking about Guardians of the Galaxy at this animation summit, but wouldn't that hypothetically be amazing? Seriously though, don't ask me about it, because it totally didn't happen. So, is it possible that Guardians of the Galaxy could see something like the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes? That came out just before the Avengers. It aired between 2010 and 2012, 2 seasons, and it introduced most of the Avengers to the world, or the new world. I'm losing my train of thought here. It introduced the Avengers to people who may not know who the Avengers were, basically. And that probably helped for the Avengers movie. Maybe not totally, but it definitely helped. Could Guardians of the Galaxy be doing the same thing? It's quite possible. So, I'm interested to see if that might happen. I think that would be a cool way to introduce these characters and have maybe people get used to something before they release the movie in just over a year's time. Well, I'll have to wait and see. Alright. Now, before we go on to any other sections, I have a beef with something. And as we know, when I have a beef here on the Warlock Hour, I like to rant a little bit. Now, you heard a little bit about that stupid prequel bullcrap for Man of Steel. That was just stupid. That's just stupidity. Here's something that has irked me for a little time now, and you might have gotten a little bit of taste of it on Real Music if you listened a few weeks back. Mr. OJ and Mr. Peter, they talked about how NATO, the National Organization Theaters, I don't know, some kind of theater organization, they want to limit trailers to 2 minutes and 30 seconds or less. They think trailers are too long. I can agree with that. They also want to limit the amount of time in advance you can promote a movie. For example, they want to limit it to 4 months. 4 months before the movie comes out is when you can start promoting it. No trailers, no posters, no anything until about 4 months before the movie comes out, with some exceptions. Those exceptions being some of the big blockbustery type movies that are teasing you with a trailer a year in advance. But then you have other trailers that come out a year and a half to 2 years in advance. A franchise like Avengers, you could probably promote almost all the time. Like, for example, when Harry Potter was coming out regularly, after the first two, we knew they were coming out. Doing small little tiny promotions and small little tiny snippets here and there is fine. But I agree that they should limit the time in advance of a movie that you're allowed to promote. Here's why. Movies like Pacific Rim, Lone Ranger, Man of Steel, even Iron Man 3, Star Trek Into Darkness, just trying to think some of the big blockbusters, The Wolverine. These movies all have between 8 to 12 theatrical trailers, 10 to 15 television spots, and lately 3 to 5 featurette trailers. Now, featurette trailers are trailers lasting more than 4.5 minutes. So anything over 4.5 minutes as a trailer is considered a featurette trailer. These featurette trailers are usually online trailers. They're trailers that you have to go and find. You have to look for them online. However, they exist. Now, you add that all up. We'll take an average. So I said 8 to 10, so we'll say 9. I said 10 to 15, so we'll say 12. So we're already up to 21. And I said 3 to 5, so we'll say 4. So 25 trailers / featurette / television spots being shown for one movie, all claiming to have new footage. Every time a new one comes out, it has new footage, new scenes, new clips. Now, this is not to mention all the screen captures and photos that appear online. By the time a movie comes out, you can almost piece together everything that's going to happen in the movie just by watching those clips and those trailers and those featurettes and those screen caps, because they're showing way too frackin' much. They shouldn't be allowed to basically inundate us with all these trailers and all these TV spots and all these featurette trailers and all these motion screen caps and photos from the set. And yeah, we want to see the behind the scenes stuff, but you know what? Put it on the DVD. Put it on the Blu-ray. That's where we can see it. That's where the people who are nerdy enough and want to see that stuff can see it. I get sick and tired of having to watch 5 different trailers for a film because I work at a movie theater, and it ruins movies for me. Especially comedies. Comedies are the worst. You watch 2 trailers of a comedy movie, and you've seen like 90% of the jokes. Why go see the movie? You're ruining the movie. I can understand the theater operators and the theater owners being upset about trailers because they're ruining the movies. They're ruining the business. Because people are not going to see these movies because they see too much of it and they realize, oh, well, I don't want to see that. A good teaser trailer. A good trailer that makes you want to see a movie, and then that's it. You don't get any more. You might get one more trailer like a couple of weeks before the movie comes out, maybe 3 weeks. That's it. That's all you need. 2 good trailers. A teaser and a trailer. That's it. That's all you need. That's it. Because you know what? If you cannot attract me to watch your film in that teaser and that one trailer, then your film's not worth it. If you need to inundate me with 60 fucking trailers, 25 different TV spots, 30 featurette trailers, I'm over-exaggerating, of course, but you know what? Like we said, the 25, we'll take the 25 between the trailers, the TV spots, and the featurette trailers. If you need all that to make me watch your movie, why should I watch your movie? I've already seen it. I just said earlier the Pacific Rim was not something that I wanted to see. I'm not going to rush out to see it. The only reason for me to see it is because I like the director. I like Guillermo del Toro's style. The trailers make me not want to see the movie. I've seen so many freaking trailers for that freaking movie that I don't want to see it. The trailers are making me not want to see the movie. I've already seen the movie. Monsters come out of the water. They build robots. They put people in the robots. They train the people in the robots. The robots fight the monsters. Monsters lose. Robots win. Robots try to take over the Earth. I don't know. It's just so stupid. We don't need 100 freaking different ways to show a trailer. A teaser? A trailer? You want to do a featurette trailer online? Fine. Do 1. Don't do 3. Don't do 4. Don't do 5 of them. Do 1. And again, do it a few weeks before the movie comes out. Don't be putting them out like months in advance. Like, we've already seen so much about X-Men Days of Future Past, which I'm still going to go see, by the way, because I've tried to avoid most of it. But there's already been so much posted about it. People already know the movie. And technically, I mean, I guess they could because it's based on a comic book, but we know they're changing it because they're putting characters in it that have no business being in it, like Quicksilver. Quicksilver has no business being in it. Not one whatsoever. The only reason Quicksilver's in that movie is so that Fox could screw over to Disney and say, ha, we did it first. Well, no, you didn't. Marvel announced it first. Joss Whedon's a genius. You're not a genius. As much as I liked Bryan Singer's work on the first 2 X-Men movies, he's not a genius. He screwed up Superman with Superman Returns. He's not a genius. So no. Trailers ruin movies because they're putting too many of them out. There's just too fracking many trailers. You don't need that many trailers to promote a movie. Over promotion, it sucks. It totally, utterly, and fully sucks. There's no need for it. I can watch a teaser trailer, and I can watch one actual trailer with some footage. And that would be enough for me. Because you know what? I will go see your movie. Even if it's shit. If it's a piece of crap. I'll tell you something. I went and watched Battlefield Earth based on the one trailer that I saw. That movie was horrible. I sat through Battlefield Earth because the trailer made it look good. I'll tell you another thing. I've never seen A Beautiful Mind. Trailer sucked. Made it look boring. Stupid. Boring. More boring. Even more boring. That's what the trailer did to me. Never seen it. Won some awards. Good artsy-fartsy movie for some people. I won't ever see it. Trailer didn't make me want to watch it. Trailers, and I only seen one to that one as well. So, one trailer is enough to make me decide whether I want to see your movie or not see your movie. If you can't do it in that one trailer, stop making movies. That is the end of this rant. And I'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with some sports.
Hi, I'm Rob Succhetto, and you're listening to Ehnother Podcast.com. Hi, I'm Rob Succhetto, creator of Zombie Portraits. You can check out Zombie Portraits at zombieportraits.com.
Thanks to Rob Schichetto, and remember, if you want to check out Rob Schichetto's work, you can check out zombieportraits.com. So let's get into the sports of things. The sports of things this week, we're going to start it off with a triumphant... I just said that word wrong, and I just said that word wrong. A triumphant Wimbledon for Mr. Andy Murray. Andy Murray became the first Brit who was actually of Scottish descent, but he's the first a British man, to win Wimbledon in 77 years. It's been 77 years since a Brit has won at Wimbledon, won the championship. Andy Murray did it in straight set victories, 6-4, 7-5, 6-4 over top-seeded Novak Djokovic. So not only has this ended nearly 8 decades of frustration in Britain, it also was a straight setter, 3-hour-long match because of the 7-5 second set. This was huge. I have friends over in the UK. I have people who are part of my Facebook friends, who are not necessarily friends, but who are people that I communicate with, that were very happy to have Andy Murray win at Wimbledon. And last year he was there, but he didn't win it. He was in the finals, but he didn't win it. And Murray has definitely done something that Britain's been waiting a long time for, and that has have a British champion at Wimbledon, ending 77 years of British drought. So I wanted to start off with that. Let's move on to the NHL. Huge trade last Thursday. Huge trade. 7-player trade. Boston and Dallas agreed to a 7-player trade. Boston sent forward Tyler Seguin, forward Rich Peverley, and defenseman Ryan Button to the Dallas Stars for forward Louis Eriksson and 3 prospects. Those 3 prospects are Joseph Morrow, Riley Smith, and Matt Frazier. Now, that is huge for 2 reasons. One, Louis Eriksson will definitely be a star, no pun intended, on the right wing for the Boston Bruins. Also, sending Tyler Seguin away just 3 years, I think, into his NHL career. He was put it this way, he was the 2nd overall pick in the 2010 NHL entry draft. A pick, by the way, that Boston acquired by trading Phil Kessel to Toronto back in the day. Phil Kessel in Boston always heard chants of "Thank you, Kessel," because they got Tyler Seguin. Well, I mean, I guess they could still say it, because out of that deal they ended up getting also Dougie Hamilton. However, Seguin is only 21 years old. He has 56 goals and 120 points in 203 career games. He also has where is it? I know he had he only had 1 goal in this Stanley Cup playoff run, but he also has a Stanley Cup ring to his tradition, to his arsenal. I mean, he's young. He's a dynamic player. He's going to help Dallas, no doubt, because he has talent. Now, the Bruins aren't losing out. They got Louis Eriksson, and they got 3 prospects. Those prospects could turn out to be good stars themselves, but it was just shocking. Absolutely, totally, and utterly shocking. With that, Friday began free agency. And let's go to the free agents tote board. Friday was a huge day for free agents. I'm going to try to get through them as much as possible up to the date that we're at today. And I'm recording this Tuesday mostly. I started on Monday, but some of the internet issues postponed me from finishing it up here on Tuesday. So I'll try and get most of the stuff in up to Tuesday as far as free agents are concerned. So, first free agent that was signed was Ray Emery by the Philadelphia Phillies? No, Flyers. Almost confused sports. He was formerly of the Chicago Blackhawks, Stanley Cup winning team. He is now a Philadelphia Flyer. Evgeny Nabokov stays in the New York Islanders. He was a free agent, but he's staying with his old team he re-signed. Daniel Alfredsson, no longer an Ottawa Senator. He is now a Detroit Red Wing. Now, this is a funny signing, in my opinion. He is one of the main, not the only, but he is one of the main reasons I hate Ottawa. I hated him playing. He caused so much havoc, and not in a good way with Toronto. He was a dirty player. And I don't care what anyone says, he was a dirty player when he played the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's done shitty things to the Toronto teams when he's played against them, so I have no respect for the guy. I can't stand him. And now, he can't stand Ottawa. He's saying, look, you guys will never win a cup. I'm going to a team that has a chance. So, Daniel Alfredsson's after a cup, and not loyalty. Mike Komisarek, formerly of the Toronto Maple Leafs, who was bought out, he is now a Carolina Hurricane. Boyd Gordon, forward for Phoenix, is now an Edmonton Oiler, and not only that, Edmonton also signed Jason LaBarbera, who was formerly of Phoenix. Nathan Horton, big free agent out of Boston, is now a Columbus Blue Jacket. Peter Reagan, was an Ottawa Senator, is now a New York Islander. Rob Scuderi, former Los Angeles King, now a Pittsburgh Penguin. Scott Hanahan stays with the Sharks. Tyler Kennedy leaves Pittsburgh and joins the Sharks. Clark MacArthur, no longer Toronto Maple Leaf. He goes across the province to Ottawa and will now be on the other side of the Ontario rivalry as he joins the Ottawa Senators. Andrew Ference is no longer a Boston Bruin. He joins the Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton also picking up Jesse Yonsu from the New York Islanders. Edmonton did lose Jan Denis to the Philadelphia Flyers. Jared Spurgeon stays with the Minnesota Wild. However, the Minnesota Wild do lose Pierre-Marc Bouchard to the New York Islanders. Greg Nemeth stays in Calgary. Chicago also holds on to Michael Roosevelt and Michael Handzus. Jeff Walker leaves Colorado and joins the Tampa Bay Lightning. Joey Crabb leaves the Washington Capitals and joins the Florida Panthers. Also joining the Florida Panthers, Mike Mateau, formerly of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thomas Greiss leaves the San Jose Sharks to join the Phoenix Coyotes. Andre Benoit leaves Ottawa to join the Colorado Rockies. Victor Stahlborg, complete with his Stanley Cup winning ring from the Chicago Blackhawks, joins Nashville. Nashville does lose Jeremy Smith, though, to Columbus. Kerry Ramo, who was in the KHL last year, joins the Calgary Flames. Dan Ellis leaves Carolina and joins the Dallas Stars. Florida Panthers lose Stephen Weiss to the Detroit Red Wings. Goaltender Carter Hutton of the Chicago Blackhawks, he was in the minor league system, joins the Nashville Predators. Washington loses Matt Hendricks to the Nashville Predators. Kyle Chipchura, he leaves Phoenix, he stays in Phoenix, that's what I meant to say. Eric Nystrom leaves the Dallas Stars to join the Nashville Predators. Nashville busy on the first day of free agency, and this is still the first day, by the way. Matt Cullen leaves the Minnesota Wild to join the Nashville Predators. Boston loses Anton Khudobin, their goaltender who backed up Tuukka Rask most of the year. Excuse me, had to take a drink. As he joins the Carolina Hurricanes. Chris Butler stays with Calgary. Travis Hamonic stays with the Islanders. The New Jersey Devils lose David Clarkson to my Toronto Maple Leafs. Brad Richardson leaves the Los Angeles Kings and heads over to Vancouver. Toronto loses Ryan Hamilton as he joins the Edmonton Oilers. Aaron Johnson leaves Boston to join the New York Rangers. Jeff Schultz leaves Washington to join the LA Kings. Chris Summers stays in Phoenix. Ryan Clough, no longer a Ranger, moves over a little bit to New Jersey. Chicago loses Olaz Ratislav to the New Jersey Devils. Kevin Marshall stays in Toronto. TJ Brennan leaves Nashville and joins the Toronto Maple Leafs. Fraser McLaren stays with Toronto Maple Leafs. Trevor Smith leaves Pittsburgh to join the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Toronto also re-signs Tyler Bozak. Still on day one of free agency, Valtteri Thierry Filppula leaves the Detroit Red Wings and joins Stevie Yzerman in Tampa Bay. Michael Stone stays with the Phoenix Coyotes. Saku Koivu re-signs with the Anaheim Ducks. Craig Adams re-signs with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Mike Ribeiro leaves Washington and joins the Rangers. Benoit Pouliot leaves Tampa Bay and joins the Rangers. Maxime Lapierre leaves Vancouver to go join the St. Louis Blues. Keith Aucoin leaves the Islanders to join the St. Louis Blues. Sean Matthias stays with Florida. Michael Ryder leaves Montreal and joins the New Jersey Devils. Matt Cook leaves Pittsburgh to join the Minnesota Wild. Jarome Iginla, the douchebag that he is, leaves the Pittsburgh Penguins to join the team that he should have been traded to last year, the Boston Bruins, or earlier this year, I guess it would be. Yes, so Jarome Iginla, who said no to a trade to Boston, signs with them as a free agent. And the final signing on the opening day of free agency was Nikolai Habibulin leaving the Edmonton Oilers and joining the Chicago Blackhawks. So there's been some signings since, not as many, but let's get through them. Buffalo re-signs Alexander Sulzer. Carolina loses Jerome Sampson to the Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg Jets also pick up Andrew Gordon from the Vancouver Canucks, but not to be outdone, the Vancouver Canucks picked up Mike Santorelli from the Winnipeg Jets. Richard Bachman leaves Dallas and joins Edmonton. Stéphane Fournier, who played in the QMJHL last year, but as a free agent, has joined the Montreal Canadiens. Adam Pardy leaves Buffalo to join the Winnipeg Jets. Ryan Jones stays with Edmonton. Derek Roy leaves Vancouver and joins the St. Louis Blues. Matt Bolesky stays in Anaheim. Frederic St. Denis leaves Montreal to join the Columbus Blue Jackets. Also, Jake Skilly leaves Florida to join the Columbus Blue Jackets. Ryan McDonough re-signed by the New York Rangers. Joe Corvo, back in Ottawa, leaves the Carolina Hurricanes, stays and moves back to a city that he played for before, the Ottawa Senators. Washington picked up 3 free agents, one from Buffalo, David Leggio, one from the New York Islanders, Matt Watkins, and one from the Florida Panthers, Tyson Strachan. Chris Mueller leaves the Nashville Predators to join the Dallas Stars. Matt Gilroy leaves the Rangers to join the Florida Panthers. John Matsumoto leaves the San Jose Sharks to join the Florida Panthers. Carter Camper stays in Boston. Cal Clutterbuck leaves the Minnesota Wild and joins the New York Islanders. And then 3 re-signings. Andy Mealy stays with the Phoenix Coyotes. Riley Nash stays with the Carolina Hurricanes. Eric Gustafsson stays with the Philadelphia Flyers. And then the final signing up to and including tonight, Nolan Yonkman leaves Florida to join the Anaheim Ducks. So, who's still available? Well, there's a lot still available. But probably the most notable ones are gone. I'm not going to go through all the ones that are still available because there's Group 2, Group 3, Group 6, and then unrestricted. Or fully unrestricted. But I will say this. Some of the ones that are still left over include the likes of Tim Thomas, include the likes of... I'm just trying to see if there's anybody worth noting. Not really. There's just too many to go through, but there are still some free agents out there, so there's still going to be some clubs on the move. Now, along with free agency, there were some trades. I just told you the big one. There were a couple more starting on the Friday of free agency. Excuse me. Told you the Dallas Stars made a huge deal to get Tyler Seguin, Rich Beverly, and Ryan Button. Well, they also acquired Sean Horkoff from the Edmonton Oilers, giving up defenseman Phil Larson and a 7th-round pick in the 2016 draft. Calgary got Chris Russell, a defenseman from the St. Louis Blues, by giving up a 5th-round pick in the 2014 draft. The Ottawa Senators, after losing Daniel Alfredson, traded for Bobby Ryan and gave up Jakob Silverberg and Stefan Neusen, as well as their 2014 first-round pick to get Bobby Ryan. George Peros is now a Montreal Canadian. They traded with Florida, who receives Philippe Lefebvre and a 7th-round pick in next year's draft. Devin Setaguchi is now a Winnipeg Jet, and the Minnesota Wild pick up a 2nd-round pick in next year's draft. Lee Maffey is now at Edmonton Oilers, and he was traded for Kyle Bigos to the San Jose Sharks. Henrik Tillander traded from New Jersey to Buffalo for Riley Boychuk, and Patrick Canone traded to St. Louis from Ottawa for future considerations. And that is all the trades, and that is all the NHL talk for this week. Moving on to some baseball. Just going to take another quick drink here. Got a sore throat tonight. I think it was the rant earlier. Might have just, been too much. Alright, so let's look at the American League standings. Boston's leading the AL East with a 54-37 record. We have a two-way tie in the AL West with the Oakland Athletics and the Texas Rangers, both of them with a 53-37 record. The Detroit Tigers are leading the AL Central with a 49-40 record. Now, because the Oakland Athletics and the Texas Rangers are tied, they are also tied for the first wild card spot with the same 53-37 record. The second wild card spot would go to the Tampa Bay Rays with a 51-40 record. So basically, whoever wins the division, if the season were in today, I think Oakland wins the division, and then Texas would be the first wild card and Tampa Bay would be the second. So that's how it would work. Moving over to the National League. The National League leaders are St. Louis leading the NL Central with a 53-34 record. The Atlanta Braves leading the NL East with a 52-38 record. The Arizona Diamondbacks leading the NL West with a 47-42 record. Your two wildcard leaders currently are the Pittsburgh Pirates with a 53-35 record, and the Cincinnati Reds with a 50-40 record. That's your standings, so let's get to some statistics. Your batting average leaders, Miguel Cabrera of the Tigers with a 368 batting average. Yadier Molina of the Cardinals with a 346 batting average. What did I say for Cabrera? 368? I think I said that. I hope I said that. Michael Cadier of the Rockies with a 337 batting average. Alan Craig of the Cardinals with a 325 batting average. And Canadian Joey Votto of the Cincinnati Reds rounds out the top five with a 321 batting average. Your home run leaders, Chris Davis of the Orioles has 33. Miguel Cabrera, oh my goodness, I can say this name, I swear. Miguel Cabrera of the Tigers with 28 home runs. Carlos Gonzalez of the Rockies with 24. Edwin Encarnacion of the Jays, Adam Dunn of the White Sox, and Dominic Brown of the Phillies, each with 23. RBI leaders, Miguel Cabrera of the Tigers with 90. Chris Davis of the Orioles with 85, so since Chris Davis has more home runs, he's hitting them a lot solo, because he's got 5 less RBIs than Miguel. Paul Goldschmidt of the Diamondbacks has 74 RBIs, Alan Craig of the Cardinals with 69, and Edwin Encarnacion of the Jays with 68. Your stolen base leaders, currently, Jacoby Ellsbury with 36 stolen bases. Everett Cabrera of the Padres, who's still on the disabled list, is second. Disabled list with 31. Starling Marte of the Pirates had 5 steals this week for a total of 27. John Segura of the Brewers has 26. Starling Marte of the Pirates. Nate McLouth of the Orioles with 24. Moving over to the pitching side of things, your ERA, oh my gosh, I can't talk tonight. ERA leaders, Clay Buchholz of the Red Sox with a 1.71 ERA. He is currently on the DL and is no longer a quote-unquote qualified pitcher at this point, so when he comes off the DL, he'll have to pitch quite a few innings, not quite a few, but probably 2 or 3 games before he'll be put back on that list. But I want to mention it because his 1.7 ERA is still pretty damn good. Clayton Kershaw is the official leader because he's qualified at 1.89 ERA. Jeff Locke of the Pirates, Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers. Jeff Locke of the Pirates, 2.15 ERA. Matt Harvey of the Mets with a 2.27 ERA. Adam Wainwright of the Cardinals with a 2.36 ERA. And Patrick Corbin rounds out the top 5 of the Diamondbacks with a 2.40 ERA. Winning pitchers, Max Scherzer of the Tigers is 13-0. So, obviously leading the way there. Bartolo Colon of the Athletics has 12 wins. Matt Moore of the Rays with 12 wins. Jordan Zimmerman of the Nationals also with 12 wins. And finally, your rounding out the top 5, Adam Wainwright of the Cardinals and Lance Lynn of the Cardinals, each with 11 wins. Your strikeout leaders: Yu Darvish of the Rangers, 157. Matt Harvey of the Mets, 141. Max Scherzer of the Tigers with 139. Justin Masterson of the Indians has 131. Felix Hernandez of the Mariners has 130. And finally, your saves leaders: Jim Johnson of the Orioles has 30. Mariano Rivera of the Yankees has 29, as does Joe Nathan of the Rangers. Jason Grilli of the Pirates has 28, and rounding out the top 5, Rafael Soriano of the Nationals with 24. That is your statistics for baseball this week. That is it for sports. And that, friends, is another week of the Warlock Hour with Rayzor here on Warlock Wednesdays on Ehnotherpodcast.com. Remember, you can check out all the shows on Ehnotherpodcast.com. As always, either on iTunes, on the website at www.ehnotherpodcast.com, or you can even find us on Stitcher.com. Remember, I always post the show within a couple of days also on YouTube, so Thursday, Friday, sometimes Saturday, the show gets posted on YouTube, so if you just want to wait till YouTube, that might be okay, but you know what? Come join the site. Come listen to us on Ehnotherpodcast.com, because you get it Wednesdays every week. It's always there. No lateness. No ifs, ands, or buts, depending on what I'm doing in my life, because sometimes I can't get to the YouTube one until later on. They're always on YouTube to listen to the old ones, though. So check it out. This is it for this week. Have a good one, everyone. I'm out. Thanks for listening to Ehnother Podcast from Ehnotherpodcast.com. Don't forget to go on iTunes and or download right from Ehnotherpodcast.com. That's Ehnother Podcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at Ehnother Podcast. Be sure to check back for tomorrow's show only on Ehnother Podcast, your Canadian podcast network. Ehnotherpodcast.com. Not a sponsor.